Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. This is Mr. Shakespeare here again with you on the 2nd of November. I'm here again with Liz Cross, the psychic medium and remote viewer. How are you doing today, Liz?
Very well. How are you?
Super fine, smashing, fantastic.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, we did a video about how the jury was, their minds were already made up, which is unusual. Most of the time when I do jury probes, they're actually very fair and they haven't made up their minds. With this latest jury probe, do you still, in fact, I'm going to group them together now. Do you still think he's guilty? Yeah, they think he's guilty of sin. That's exactly what they just said. So they're still adamant that he's guilty. Half of them don't want to be there, as we found out the other day. But what is a good question is that somebody posted on the YouTube comments, like, why is he like this? And everything's rooted in a past life trauma. And I thought, well, let's find out. Is that okay with you, Mr. Shakespeare?
Okay.
And you were enthusiastic about that. Well done. You're doing well.
Yeah.
Round of applause for Mr. Shakespeare. You were enthusiastic. Okay. So I'm going to go in and figure out, like, what on earth is going on with this man? Like, why is he just so, why are you like the way that you are? Well, so I immediately went in and got some lifetime from the Middle East for him. It's going quite far back, and he was killed. Like, it was something hit him, like right in the head, like right in the third eye area. I mean, he was killed immediately, just bang. And in that lifetime, he was actually brain damaged. He had learning difficulties. He had all sorts of problems. And, back then, especially however many lifetimes this is ago, they really disposed of you unless you were locked away for no one to see. But they disposed of you. And he was locked away for quite some time, but he escaped. And once he escaped, because he was, for lack of a better word, like a simpleton or had all these learning problems, he was killed immediately. And nobody cared back then. So I feel he's brought these life lessons forward again in this lifetime. And he was born with some sort of learning issues. He has there's definitely something going on with his brain connections. He doesn't understand where he does things wrong. He doesn't understand mistakes. He doesn't understand how he affects other people. There's definitely zero empathy there. And I also feel like he was humiliated a lot when he was a child. Now, I don't know anything about his parents. I don't know anything about him personally. In fact, you just told me he was the founder of Miramax. I didn't even know that. I didn't know anything about him until all of this came out. But he was humiliated a lot when he was a child. He was made to stand in a spot for a very long time. He wasn't allowed to go to the restroom. I feel like he would often urinate on himself. He was terrified. So he has all these components going on. And he was determined to be powerful. And that's what got him through. He was not loved very much as a child. I feel like maybe a grandparent showed him love, but he definitely is empty, and he doesn't have all of that bonding, and this humiliation is really severe. What would you like to know? Do you have any questions?
Not really. Just so okay, but all right. So all these things happened in a past life, but we're not sure which one. But a past life, is that right?
No.
But no, hang on. No, in the past. Sorry. The things that happened in his past life, did that affect and shape his present life? That's what I'm trying to ask.
Yes, because he carries forward this disability, this learning difficulty. His brain is very different, and it has a lot of wiring issues. And there's a lot of lapses in communication. I feel like he was quite slow in some areas, especially perception. So, children can perceive their parents and their caregivers' emotions very quickly. I don't feel like he was really around his parents too much. Okay. I feel like he was probably just there. He was just there. He wasn't nurtured in a very positive way. Now, in his previous lifetime, he was nurtured somewhat, but he was also like locked away and in a room where nobody could see him. Now, in this lifetime, he was an embarrassment to his parents. I don't know why exactly, but this humiliation thing that was going on is very, very severe. Like, I can see him standing there as a child, and I'm talking about a small child of about the age 3 or 4. He wasn't allowed to move. And it all had to do with the fact that he had these learning problems. He wasn't able to perceive things properly. So something, they would say something must be wrong with you. And they would try to punish him by making him stand and not allowed to go to the bathroom. Of course, then he would urinate. So he felt as a child, he felt very powerless. And it only takes 1 or 2 of these events, right, to create a monster. It doesn't take much. It really doesn't. He then figures, he's one of those people that's, I'm not going to, live like this. I'm going to be better. He's one of those really go-getter people that's going to bust through all of these traumas as much as possible. I'm going to be this. I'm going to show them, right? He's one of those people. But then when he got into this position of power, and I feel like he had a lot of help with that, right? He's not somebody who worked from like poverty, right? I don't feel like he was poverty stricken at all. But when he got into this position of power, he then figured out at a very young age, it was easy to manipulate people. And that's where he started manipulating women on a very frequent basis. And the more power he had, the higher up he became, the more he could manipulate. And I feel like it was a symbiotic sort of relationship. Like he wanted to be powerful so he could manipulate, right? And that's what spiraled this out of control. It's compulsive. I feel like he was heavily involved in the porn industry, whether people want to believe that or not, he was. And he just knew how to use and abuse people. So that is what I see. I feel like this learning difficulty and this humiliation just was a recipe for, disaster.
Okay. How's his relationship with his brother, Bob?
I didn't even know he had a brother. Do you have a picture of his brother, please?
No, I'm just reading on Wikipedia. Hold on.
Let me have a look. That's a good question. Well, they look similar. So he's also in the film industry.
Yeah, well, they both earned, between them, they both had, they were Miramax, weren't they? So.
Oh, I didn't know he did that with his brother. Okay. So could you bring a picture of the brother on the screen, please?
Yeah, I'm just trying to find one.
That's interesting. There he is. They look alike. Yeah, okay. So let me connect with him. What exactly do you believe about your brother? Oh, he's not happy. He's not happy. He's lost a lot of money because of his brother. He's saying to me that he's always had to carry him in life. He's always been destructive. He's always been unsupervised. What are his exact words? He's been a nuisance and a menace. When he was younger, he was, drinking and into drugs, I feel, which is, I guess, very typical for out there. But he went one way and the brother went the other way. He was embarrassed. He's embarrassed by his brother. But did you know what was going on? Yes, he did know what was going on. But he's saying to me, at the time that this all started, like, it wasn't a bad thing to do. Everybody was doing it.
Well, yeah, the famed Hollywood casting couch, isn't it? That's what I mean.
Oh, right. Yeah. And did you do it? I mean, he's saying I even did it, but I got tired of it. It didn't give him a thrill like the brother. That he's compulsive. This brother is not. Bob Weinstein, he's not compulsive.
How long does he think his brother will spend in jail? How much time does he think his brother will spend in jail?
The rest of his life.
Yeah, that's what I think as well. Yeah.
He's saying this was nothing out of the norm. It's only become, out of the norm recently. This has been going on for years.
Yeah, it has. But the thing is, I mean, yeah, many women have been abused and raped and, assaulted over the years, and some men. But now it's coming out. I mean, because it has been going on and been swept under the carpet, it doesn't make it right.
No, it doesn't make it right, of course. But, people didn't go to the police because it ruined their career.
Right.
If you went to the police in Hollywood, if you did that, everybody would know that's it. You're done. You're finished. You're going back home with your tail between your legs and you're not coming back. I mean, that's how it is out there. What he's saying to me.
Yeah.
The problem is it was so compulsive. He just couldn't stop. He's like, the rest of us, we all stopped. We knew to stop. But for his brother, no, he just couldn't stop. It was compulsive behavior. It was getting worse. Do you think Harvey's wife knew about it? Yeah, she's fully aware. She's fully aware.
Was she complicit?
She complicit? Yes, to an extent, yes.
Wow.
So there you go. Wow. So that's the answer. It's all he, keeps having these mental issues, right? And every lifetime, and whatever the re-triggering event is that brings it forward, he'll have it again. It's like, this is what we do, right? And I've noticed a pattern. And the pattern is we have these things that go on, these lessons, and we have to learn how to cope and how to, make headway with them and process. Sometimes we have to be really, really horrible in order to, not have to do that ever again. right? So it forces you to a point where you have no choice but to change. Let me ask Harvey Weinstein, do you believe there's anything wrong with your behavior? See, no, he doesn't believe anything's wrong with his behavior. He's like, it's their fault. Actually, he started speaking very derogatory. He was about women just now. He said they are all the, S word. And he was saying, they deserve it. That's what they get. They want me. That's very typical of somebody with that compulsive behavior, where they think it's all their fault, not their, all somebody else's fault, not theirs. They wanted him. It's like I've probed rapists and serial killers before, and you often find that that's a standard answer, which is they wanted it. You find that with child abusers as well, like pedophiles. They wanted it. And so it's a very warped perception. And because he wasn't really cared for when he was younger, Harvey Weinstein, because this wasn't taken care of and it was allowed to continue without any therapy and any help, and, God help us, they probably had the money to do it. But he was just left, abandoned emotionally and in that way. And he just raised himself. So this is how he turned out.
Well, hopefully he'll get some more help in the future, but with the Department of Corrections.
Yeah, really. Yeah, well, his toilet doesn't flush, apparently. God. I don't know. That's pretty bad. I mean, sitting in a cold cell with a toilet that doesn't flush that's pretty grim. So, yeah. But anyway, any more questions about Weinstein, like why he's like this, just drop us a line in the comment field. And of course, you can always interact with Mr. Shakespeare on Discord. You do that by joining the Patreon, which is Remote Viewing and Beyond. Thank you very much.